Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Friday. Farting around, Q&A, playing with tiny whoops, and talking shit. The Walksnail 2S rig is dumping all of the flight files off of the DVR right now. So you're going to see me go like this. Every so often to blow on the Walksnail VTX to make sure it doesn't get too hot. It's sitting on the gangly fan, but I'm just always worried about it getting too hot. Yeah, that flight footage was the second battery ever on the 2S platform. Before I'd nailed down the camera settings, it was on the 23,500 1002s. God only knows what motor limiting I had set on them. The tune was like completely stock. In a minute, when this finishes copying, 7.8 gigs out of 10.2, we're going to take a look at the battery that I just flew 20 minutes ago on the 18,000 kV T-motor 1002s. With the camera settings dialed in, with the tune dialed in, and yeah, other things. We're also going to take a look at the flight footage from the 1S 75mm Walksnail builds, and you're going to get to hear me bitch and moan about it. it flies like ass all of a sudden. And I think that I've figured out why. Way back in the day when I was hell-bent on... we're talking like 7 years ago. When I got my first rig, started upgrading it, figured out how to make more power, found motors that made more power, bigger props, more aggressive props. I was hell-bent to stay on 2S. And lightweight. And in the process of doing that, my run times got shorter and shorter and shorter. And I ended up with 3-minute run times, 2.5-minute run times, 2-minute run times. And once I got down below 3-minute run times, basically what happened was I was putting so much stress on the batteries, and the batteries were getting so hot from that, you know, from... We charge batteries up and it takes a half an hour, right? Even if you put them at like 2C or 3C, it still takes like 20, 25 minutes to charge them, right? So in that 20, 25 minutes, the heat that gets generated is spread out so they don't get all that hot. Well, then you go and you discharge them. And if you discharge a LiPo in 2 minutes, it gets so hot that you hurt it. And I think that's what's happening. I think I've crept back up on that, because I remember... oh, it's done. It's done. Hold on, let me delete all these, and... the trash, there we go. Delete the trash. Awesome. Eject, and pull the battery. Beautiful. Yeah, I remember that I started going through batteries. I started having batteries that, like, I would get a couple of new batteries, and I would run them for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden they'd be performing horrible, and I would look at the internal resistances and they were sky high, and it's like, what the hell's going on here? And so, yeah, I think I've crept back up on that. I think that here's why I think that. I have a whole bunch of these 1S folded cell 450 mAh batteries that were totally fine when I was running them on the Jungle Gym Basher, which gets 3 to 4 minute run times. I cycled them a whole bunch. They continued to perform completely fine. And then I started running them on these Walksnail rigs. And ever since I've been running these on the Walksnail rigs, they've been just falling to pieces. Like, one battery after the next is starting to perform really bad. And I'm sure that if I looked at the internal resistances, they would be really high. I don't really need to look at the IRs anymore, because, like, if I charge it up and I fly it, and, like, from the second that I arm it, it sags down to like 3.5, 3.6 volts, but then I can fly it for the entire 2 minutes at 3.5. It'll then sag down to like 3.3, 3.2, 3.4. That's a battery that the internal resistance is too high. That's like a dead giveaway. And that's the situation that I'm in with these 75mm rigs. And now that I've been thinking about it, I have a whole bunch of these 300 mAh folded cell batteries from different manufacturers, Weebly, Dogcom, Tiny Whoop, that I've gotten recently. That and then recently I built the 40,000 kV Walksnail freestyle Tiny Whoop, and I've been flying that here and there. And I've had a bunch of these batteries that are shit in the bed, and are performing the exact same way. And so, yeah. I gotta kind of rethink the... I mean, the long and short of it is that if you have a build that is charging through a battery in 2 minutes, you're going to be hurting your batteries. And you gotta either decide, do you want to just pay more money for batteries and just only get 10, 15 cycles out of your batteries before they're pretty much trash? Or do you want to do something to the build to get around that, right? Lower kV motors, less all-up weight, bail on Walksnail, right? The 2S build, I'm getting 3 minutes out of these batteries. So here's the other way that you can tell how hot the batteries are when they come off the rig. As soon as you get done flying the rig, since these little motors seem to like dissipate the heat magically, when you're done flying a tiny whoop, check the battery heat. If the battery is boiling hot, you're pushing it too hard and you're hurting the battery. Heat is what hurts these batteries. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we have to manage, which is super annoying. Like, it's super annoying that I learned that lesson and then kind of forgot it. But it's nice that that lesson was there, and I just had to find it again. I'm gonna pull the footage off this guy and empty out the storage on this guy. So you're going to get some more beeping. I apologize for that, but it'll be okay, I promise. Plugging in the absurdly small little cable. So the four... I flew 4 batteries on the 1S rig just now. They performed so bad that when I was done flying them, I just put them aside. I'm like, these are trash. These are just junk batteries now. And I'm gonna have to go through. I've hurt a whole bunch of these batteries, and so I'm gonna have to go through and find the ones that I've hurt, and get rid of them and replace them, which is super annoying, super annoying. But welcome to FPV. So all right, let's get these files off here. Where it becomes really important to go through that exercise with these Walksnail rigs now is that when you have batteries with a really high internal resistance, those are the batteries that when you blip full throttle, they're gonna brown Walksnail out, and you're gonna lose your video. And if you're out and about flying that rig, you're gonna potentially lose the entire rig. So yeah, we need to. I think basically we need to just put a 2-minute and 30-second time limit. Like when you go out to fly, if you can't get more than 2.5 minutes out of your battery the way that you normally fly, I'm not talking about going out and just hovering the damn thing or flying it really soft. If you go out and fly a rig and you're only getting 2.5 minutes, like that's the limit, and that's still going to be hard on your batteries, right? Like that's still going to be tough. So yeah, kind of annoying. And this throws a bit of a wrench in the whole Walksnail project here, because I don't think I'm really willing to go through batteries this often. I think that, yeah, it's going to be... I'm not super upset losing the 1S Walksnail setup because it never really performed all that good anyway. I am upset that there's a chance that the 1S Walksnail builds might need to get rethought or torn down. Because yeah, they're fun to fly in the house. Oh, maybe not though. Maybe what I can do with the 1S setups is just back the KV off, and then you just don't fly it super hard. Don't fly it so hard that you eat the battery in 2 minutes. Relax with it. Cruise it around. It's a cinewhoop, right? Like, we kind of figured this out a while ago when I said that when you put Walksnail onto tiny whoops, it turns them into little mini cinewhoops. And so maybe that's the flight. That's just what you have to do. That's what a 1S Walksnail build is it's a little tiny cinewhoop, regardless if it's 65 or 75. I think that might be the sort of the deal. there, which I don't love. You know, like I'm okay getting 2 minutes of runtime, but I'm not okay and just changing batteries all the time. I'm not okay with having the batteries shit the bed this often and just hammering the batteries so hard that I only get 10, 15, 20 cycles out of them. That's insane. You know, that's like 50 cents to $1 per flight per 2 minutes. That's a bit much, right? This guy, this is the 2S rig. I flew it outside a bunch and I crashed it into the grass. And as you can see, it's all green now. I hate that. I hate when these clear frames get all greened up. So all you got to do is take a Q-tip, take your little thing of isopropyl alcohol, get some on the Q-tip, and it cleans it right up. What I'll do is, like, I'll put the ISO on one duct, and then I'll put it and just let it kind of sit there and seep in, and then I'll do a second duct here, and then I'll go back to the first duct and just kind of scrub it a little bit. You can also get in there with a toothbrush if you want, but man, Q-tips work super, super, super well. And yeah, I'll just spin the Q-tip around. It'll get almost all the grass and shit off. And you're back to looking good. Because as we all know, if you're not going to fly good, you better look good, man. You better look good. Look at the difference. This one I just did. This one is starting to clean up a little bit. Here, hold on. I'll do both fronts, and then I'll show you front versus rear. Yeah, keep your shit clean, man. When you keep your stuff clean, you can see breaks like in the frames and whatnot. Like it doesn't take very long to keep these things clean, and like it's not a big deal, but like just do it. Just do it. It's a thing from back in race car days. You would if you keep like your engine bay, for example, right? You'll notice a lot of race cars, they'll paint the interior, they'll paint the race car, they'll paint the engine bays white, and then they'll keep them clean. And it's like, why the fuck would you do that? It's to spot leaks and cracks and stuff. It's kind of important, actually. And so, yeah, there you go. I mean, the fronts were a lot dirtier, but yeah, it really, really, really cleans it up. Let's get the rears here, and then we'll be good to go. In the chat, Crom was first, Stryker was next, Douglas Otwell. Oh wow, can I do this? Can I do two things at once? Timmons, Bob Bruce, Tom Johnson, Curtis Hayes, Chuck P, Andrew Taylor, Bergeron, Rockcrawler, LOL the Kidson, Kiddison rather, Notice, Walter Van Den Ord, Slowcal, McMucus, Safe Zone, Elias. What's up, everybody? If you want the gangliest of all the ganglies in the gangly gangleverse to say your name, you got to come in early. You got to say something in the chat, or just tag me. Type CiottiFPV, and your chat comment will light up an orange, and then I'll read it. You can also do a super chat if you want to support the insanity that is continuing to do FPV full time. Coming up on my slow season for gig work. And so, yeah, any and all support is greatly appreciated. You'll be getting more. I'll be able to do more once gig work slows down, I'm able to test more stuff and just focus more on the live streams. And it's always nice when I can replace some of the income that I make from gig work with more fresh people coming on board, or people just showing their appreciation more with for the money that I saved them by testing stuff and telling them, don't do a 1S build if you're going to fly it hard, because you're going to wreck a bunch of batteries and waste a whole bunch of money there. So yeah, I appreciate it very much. CiottiFPV.com is the website where you can really support me. There's a link to my Patreon over there. There's a link to the Discord over there. And there's a whole bunch of affiliate links as well. So head on over. I'm sure somebody's putting a link to it in the chat right now. get over there, click a bunch of buttons. Affiliate links are a completely free way for you to support content creators. So you should do it. Super easy to do. Replace your bookmarks with your favorite content creators' affiliate links. And then when you click your bookmark to go to Amazon to order, that 22-gallon drum of lube, I'll get 1 to 6% of that purchase. And yeah, you can get lubed up, and I'll buy more stuff to test. They actually sell... I'm going to do this in an incognito window. Hold on. Oh, screw you. Don't make me do a cap. There you go, friends. Look at that. I mean, if you've got, like a workshop, you could get this drum of lube. But if you've got a sex shop, there you go. What a nightmare. Oh my god. What is is that how it works? Oof, I'm in the wrong business. Rockcrawler says, hey, a CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang. Striker says, have you heard anything about the supposed HDZero AIO? And not a single thing, other than that there's people testing it, apparently. Just Mo says, what's up, brother? What's up, homie? Walter Van Den Ord says, is it not like that Walksnail sucks too hard, needs more than one cell? So Walksnail does pull a lot more juice from the battery than analog, but that's not the problem. The problem is the extra weight. The extra 5 or 6 grams when you go digital on a tiny whoop is just a massive increase. It's like a 30 to 40% increase in weight. And so then the motors have to work way harder. And yeah, we go from 3 minute and 30-second run times down to 2 minutes. And that's just pulling too hard on the batteries. Look, this is like weirdly a good thing, because this is us finding the limitations of yet another part of these powertrains. This is us finding the limitations of the batteries. And yeah, that means that we are continuing to develop these things to the point where, we're figuring out when and where we need to back off a little bit. And so yeah, it's easy to think of that as a bad thing and be like, oh, these things suck. Like, no, we're finding the end of the performance envelope, and now we can back off a little bit. And that's how you get stuff that performs as good as it possibly can. That's what we're doing, right? Like, that's why we continue to test stuff. That's why we continue to try new things, is we're trying to find that limit. We're push towards that limit. Well, when you get to that limit, you can't go like, oh, fuck, this sucks. It's like, no, like everything you've been doing has been working towards this moment. And now you can back off from that a little bit, have it to where it is at the bitter edge of its performance envelope. And now you can, I don't know, maybe just fly it, right? Maybe at this point you stop worrying about testing and tuning and pushing the limits and just fly the damn thing. And so that's kind of where we're at, and that's a good thing in a way. I wish it's natural to wish that we could push the performance a little bit farther on the 1S stuff, but at that point you're bumping your head up against physics pretty much, right? And so yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. And so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Let me show you how bad. So I moved the 1S rig onto the betafpv 1102 22,000s, and on a so I have 4 they're markered with blue, right? So I have 4 Weebleed 450 mAh 1S batteries that are fresh. I've charged and discharged these less than 5 times, and they fly fine on this 1S Walksnail rig. But if I continue to run these on this rig as it is right now, I only get 2 minutes of runtime. I'm gonna overheat them every single time I run them, and they're gonna fall to pieces. And so, yeah. For the record, this rig can fly a lot better than what you're about to see, but realistically, you're not gonna just run these for 10 or 15 cycles and then retire them. You're gonna run them for 20 or 30 or 40 cycles, and that's what you're about to see. You're about to see the performance of this thing once you've run the batteries more than 5 or 10 times. And I mean, I probably don't even need to show it to you at this point because I've told you it sucks. But here you go. Let me pull this over to this screen. And so the dead giveaway. So 4 batteries in a row, I take off and they sag down to 3.5 or 3.6 per cell. See that big hit of prop wash there? That's not there on one of these newer batteries. But there's an even more... So this is actually me checking the tune. This is me like, oh my god, the tune must suck. And like, no, the tune is cranked up and it's fine. I cranked it up a little bit more, but still, didn't really help. Here's where you can really tell. And like, if you just limp it around like this, it's not bad. It's still going to hurt the batteries. But here's where you can really tell. I might have... This is the last battery I flew on it, so I might have stopped. You might already be able to see. You notice it juddering around all over the place? By chance? It's kind of doing it all the time. And like, I'm really trying to fly it in a way that doesn't make it look so bad at this point. Because this is the 4th battery that I'd flown on it. See it? See it? See that wobbling? I hope that's coming through the live stream. It's doing that all the time that I fly it like flat when you can really notice it. When I keep some stick input, you don't notice it as much because it's pushing itself into turns, but it's actually doing it all the time. It's the PID loop trying to make correct, basically the response time, and you can tell by that giant amount of prop wash that it gets, is that the battery is not able to deliver enough voltage for it to have a quick enough response time that it can keep the damn thing from wobbling all over the place like that. And so, I mean, technically, I probably had a little bit more headroom in the tune. I could probably keep turning the tune up more and more and more and more. And that might help a little bit. But to fly a battery around that's sagging down to 3.5 volts a cell from the second that you take off, like, that sucks. It flies like ass. Like, it has no... Like, you have to hammer on full throttle, like a full... See it? See it wobbling all around? Wobble, 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 wobble. You have to sit on full throttle for like a full second on any kind of like a dive or any catch. See it? See all that wobbling around? That's just the battery being completely unable to deliver the voltage that the motors need to keep this damn thing stable in the air. And it's just from these batteries getting their asses kicked, getting over discharged, getting discharged at a level that gets them too hot, and then they LiPo batteries don't like to get as hot as we can get them with running them down in 2 minutes. Here, you should really see it in here. Although it'll be kind of covered up by how low I am in this little trench. But yeah, look at the wobbles and the bobbles. It's actually not that bad there. But yeah, hopefully you guys could see that. Flying it, like me flying it, it's nasty. It's really, really, really nasty. And like, not to mention that just like, other than it wobbling all over the place, it has no power. Like when I go full throttle, the battery dumps down to like 3.1, 3.2 volts and just, and it like, there's no RPM, there's no KV, it just flies like ass. So yeah, super shame, but really important that we kind of figured this out, I think, because yeah, hopefully this will prevent you guys from wasting a bunch of money on batteries and not understanding why your batteries are only lasting for a couple of weeks, if you're flying a lot. Makes sense? Let me get caught up on chat. Just Mo says, what's up? Walter says, no, we got that. Striker says, getting oiled up with the CiottiFPV affiliate link is crazy. Trey Pulag says, will you try the HDZero AIO when it's released? Goddamn right I will. I got all this money sunk into the HDZero goggles back behind me, and I haven't actually run HDZero on them. That could be, you know, an HDZero AIO is kind of the dream. Like a digital tiny whoop is the dream, right? Like how much time, how many hundreds of hours have I spent on these Walksnail builds trying to get them to work right, trying to get them to fly properly. And the problem that I keep smashing my head into is the weight of the extra. I mean, screw the packaging, right? Like it's also a total pain in the ass that you have to run a second 25 by 25 board up on top. Like that sucks, but like I've gotten over that. Like I'm Stockholm syndrome into that, and I'm like, fine, it's just it is what it is. It would be amazing to not have to do that, but the weight is the main thing. The weight increase is the total disaster that is trying to have a digital tiny whoop. And so an AIO with HDZero on board is insane. I'm sure it'll be a little bit heavier than a regular AIO, but it won't be 5+ grams heavier. And so yeah, with an extra with a 5 gram weight penalty, HDZero doesn't make any sense. This is what I've always said, right? This has been the main reason that I haven't gone down the HDZero train on the tiny. I mean, I did originally, but it's why I haven't done another HDZero tiny whoop. If I'm gonna take a 5 gram weight penalty, I might as well take a 6 gram weight penalty and have good quality video. Once that 5 gram weight penalty is gone, and maybe it's just a 1 gram weight penalty, well, now HDZero is awesome because it's a tiny weight penalty over analog, and it looks way better than analog. It doesn't look anywhere near as good as Walksnail, and it won't, but it'll fly 1,000 times better. And that's, you know, when you have all your priorities, like the weight thing drastically changes, and then all those other priorities can kind of shift. So yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. I'm blown away that it's a thing. I have absolutely no idea how they've managed to take an entire 25 by 25 HDZero VTX and put it onto an existing 25 by 25 PCB with all the other things that we need for these fuckers to fly. I have no idea how that's possible. And I'm still like weirdly skeptical that everyone is lying about it. I'm sure they're not, but it's like, I just don't get it. I don't understand how it's possible, but I love that it is. And I would absolutely die to have a lightweight, flyable, digital tiny whoop. I would really love for it to be on Walksnail, but the lower latency of HDZero is a big deal. So I'll fucking take it, man. Like, I don't think Walksnail will ever be able to do what HDZero is doing right now. I would love for them to, but I can't possibly imagine it. And so, yeah, it's super exciting. Super, super, super exciting. Striker says, have you seen what Proton and Mo have been doing with analog DVR though? Yeah, they've got a very cool oh, well, maybe I shouldn't say. I don't want to blow up their spot as to exactly what they're doing. I've been talking to them about it. I've been talking to Mo about it. I don't think Proton to Go likes me. he was on here a while ago, and then he disappeared, and I think he was talking shit at some point. But I mean, whatever, it's fine. I'm a pretty loudmouth leftist, and some people don't like that, and that's totally fine. But yeah, I've been talking to Just Mo about it, and yeah, I don't want to like if yeah, I don't want to blow up the spot as to what they're doing, but they're doing some stuff in DaVinci Resolve, and unfortunately I don't use DaVinci Resolve. But yeah, it looks really good. It really does, what they're up to. I'll leave it there. Ramdongo says, I mentioned Gono to a friend. He's gay and showed me another product. Smoky Dog Cujo says, what made you look that up? LMAO, that's a lot of lube. On another live stream, actually, somebody brought it up a long time ago. They just it might have been Joshua. It might have been on one of Joshua's live streams. He was, I don't know. So another streamer brought it up as like, look at the insane things that are sold on Amazon, and I just never forgot it. Because like, how do you forget the fact that Amazon sells $2,000 literal barrels of lube? That's, you know, you guys won't forget that. You'll put that in your back pocket and whip it out at a party. That fact, not a 55-gallon drum of lube. It wouldn't fit in your pocket. McMuka says, hello, might be worth it to check out the new Meteor 75 Air. It appears that it comes with a new Whoop 5-way all-in-one. Yeah, I kind of wish that betafpv had sent it to me. But it's we've looked at it on the stream a little bit recently. I think of it as exactly the same as the comparison between the Meteor 65 Air and the Mobula 6 2024, which is that it's a great bind and fly rig, and the reason to buy it is that you don't want to upgrade. It's got direct soldered motors, which I hate, and it's got an external receiver, and yeah, I mean it's just, and it's good enough out of the box where you kind of don't need to upgrade it. But I want, looking at the motor sizing and the KV, it's not going to be enough for me. And again, the whole direct soldering motors things just makes me want to jump off the roof. And so for me, the Mobula 7 1S ELRS having motor plugs is the way to go, because I want way more KV than what the Meteor 75 Air comes with, and I don't want to have to take a set of motors, cut the plugs off, and then direct solder the damn things. Direct soldered motors make me not fly as hard and make me punch babies. And, you know, for the sake of parents around the world, I fly rigs with motor plugs. And, you know, not wanting to go to jail for punching an infant. Minos133 says, is the F4 2G4 a better choice than Superx version 2? Better is not the word. It's different. It's heavier. It's more reliable, more durable. That's it. It's heavier and more reliable and more durable. They're super hard to find. So at this point, if you can find them, in my opinion, you should buy them. Just because at some point it's going to go away completely, and then you're not even going to have the option anymore. And there are a whole bunch of us that if you ever fall out of love with the 2G4, we will buy them from you, because we are looking for the most durable possible AIO that has ever been made, which is what the 2G4 is. The new Superx is, yeah, a little bit lighter, not quite as durable. It's totally fine. I have beat the living hell out of mine, and they've survived. But the 2G4 is just dumb. It's just so dumb how durable that thing is. And it doesn't have this minor, but it's there, mid-throttle oscillation issue that the Superx has. Most people don't even notice it. I'm a lunatic, and so I will every once in a while. Somewhere at like 50 to 55% 50% throttle, which you're not at that throttle value often, which is why it's really not a very big deal, and why most people don't even notice it. But there is this throttle value slightly above halfway where the Superx, you'll just get this ever so slight little bit of shaking in the flight footage. Look, tiny whoops are analog. The video looks like ass. It really, and it happens so infrequently that, like, it's really not a big deal at all. But the 2G4 doesn't have it. And the 2G4 also has a plug for the camera, which is really nice. It's not nearly as important as plugs for motors, but it's just a nice kind of thing. So each one has their own pluses and minuses. Neither one is better. As with most things in life and FPV, there typically is not better. There's just different. And it's your job to figure out what your priorities are and look at the strengths and weaknesses of this stuff and decide which one's perfect for you. That's why we custom build, right? That's why we don't just go on to any old website and buy a bind and fly and just fly it, right? The whole point of you being here is that you can learn what all these pluses and minuses are so that you can buy the thing that's best for your specific needs. And so, yeah, that's how those two things kind of smack down together. That's a weird thing to say. Kevin Sumner dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you so much, brother. Ramdongo says, motor plug CiottiFPV, does it have? No. Asking about the 75 Air. Nope. 75 Air has the exact same AIO and external receiver setup as the 65 Air, which is direct soldered motors, a very weird proprietary looking plug for an external receiver. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a different way of doing it. It's a way that I don't like. For my needs, with how often and how hard I crash, the direct soldered motor thing sucks, and I don't like it. And it makes me fly rigs not as hard because I don't want to have to pull the whole goddamn thing apart to replace the motors over and over and over and over and over again. That's just me. If you don't fly as hard, if you don't crash as hard, if you don't crash as often, maybe it's the perfect rig for you. So yeah, that's why it's important to throw the whole better thing out and just learn about stuff and make your own decisions as to what's right for you. Notice says, I have 32,500 kV motors on an analog Module 6. I finally understand how more power can't overcome weight. Sometimes I need to experience stuff for myself. You and me both, brother. Most people. Hard lesson, right? Like the whole hard lesson conversation. Curtis says, Carl said the AIO is for a 5-inch. What? Carl is from HDZero. And we were just talking about the tiny whoop with HDZero on the AIO. And now Carl says that the AIO is for a 5-inch. Everybody has been using it on tiny whoops. That's confusing. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm super confused. Curtis, can you tell me more? Denzel the Turtle says, hello, beautiful people, and CiottiFPV. I'm not a beautiful people. Fucker, I see how it is. Walter says, I did not mean to suck like in bad. I know the motors... No, I didn't take it as that. I took it as suck a lot of power. Now I know the motors use your energy, and you have the best motors on there, bigger than, more heavy. Yep. Ramdago says, which visual system lets me see through the most walls? Any of them. Any FPV system will allow you to see through walls into people's homes when they're getting changed. It's amazing. Kevin Summer says, did you know you can buy a truck on Amazon? I don't think I knew that, but you can buy a house on Amazon. Maggie found this the one day. And she actually got all excited about it and was like, yo, we should buy some land and do this. I was like, yo, you should lay off the crack cocaine. I'm just gonna search for foldable house. There it is. So where's the one that Maggie... Wow, there's a shitload of them. Holy fucking hell. There are way too many on here. What the hell? I thought it was just the one. They're all pretty similar. So, yeah, this is... I don't know if this is the exact one, but this is very similar to the one that, that Maggie showed me the one day that I was just like, what the hell? They don't have good pictures in that one though. I think this is the one. They show it folded up. Well, so you can kind of see it's the center section is I assume like a you know, a trailer house or whatever. But then so it comes all folded up, but then you fold it out. See the seams here? And so, you know, this whole right side is like folded inside the center portion, and so is the left side. And it comes like a mess. But then, yeah, you fold this shit out, and it turns into like a trailer home, like a trailer park home, right? So you can see the seam here. All right, so this is the center section, but when it ships to you, all this shit over here is folded into the middle. Absolutely ridiculous, man. For the low price of $55,000, you can... This is a 2-story one? What the shit? Good lord. Oh, there's a 40-foot and a 20-foot. Wow. Oh, Amazon. What a nightmare. Trucks, houses, what do you need? Just all you need is an internet connection and Amazon. You're good to go. I think Kevin Sumner has dropped a link to the truck. Let's take a look. Oh my god! It's almost like a tuk-tuk. Oh, look at that! It's got a dumper bed on it. No way. Oh boy. Oh, it's electric. No way. Okay, I'm in. I'm down. See all buying options. What do we got? $4,000. Wow, not bad. Self-dumping tricycle. The name of my sex tape. All right, here we go. Ram Douglas says, wires are small. Why not have very small JSTs? 0.5. Christ, the regular JSTs are enough of a pain in the ass. I wouldn't want them to be any smaller. There are some... So like the plug that's on the Beta 65 Air actually is one of these. It's similar to the Newbie Drone plugs actually. You know what? Newbie Drone sells it. I think it's... Come to think of it, I think it's JST 0.8. Hold on, let me see. Let me search for JST 0.8. I'm pretty sure that... Yep, there it is. Look at the big brain on Brad. So yeah, we already have infinitesimally small JST plugs, and they're called JST 0.8. And then yeah, these wires are absurdly small here as well, and they've got this stupid PVC coat. Oh fuck, I'm not showing my screen. There you go, JST 0.8. Newbie Drone's been using them for a while. The plug is just absurdly small, and then these wires are heinously small with stupid PVC shielding on them. That's a pain in the ass to work on. But yeah, I wouldn't want to go smaller than JST 0.8. This is pretty obnoxious as it is. This is also the same plug that's on the Walksnail light that we struggle with to plug in the VTX to pull the footage off of it. Very annoying. Very, very annoying. Kevin Sumner says, I dropped a link in Livestream Live to the HDZero AIO sneak peek. Oh, shit. It's in the HDZero community. I guess this is it. Yeah, I mean, look at that. There's an antenna plug. That's a UFL antenna plug on one single AIO. And it almost looks like there's a massive chip over here, like one big ass chip over here, which would be like the main processor for HDZero, or it could just be the crazy blockiness of this. Jesus. That's wild, man. That's absolutely ridiculous. All right. Thank you for that, Kevin. Hey, look at that. I'm caught up on chat. Okay, so here's something else I wanted to mention. The 2S Walksnail rig. This is on T-Motor. Are they 18,000? Let me just check. Yeah, T-Motor 1002, 18,000 kV motors on 2S. That's a bit much. You don't want to run these at 100%. So I had it down on 80%, and then I actually moved it up to 85% motor limiting, and it felt about the same. So I'm probably going to move it back down to 80%. It has plenty of... Oh, I didn't even play the flight footage from this. That's right. Hold on. Okay, so at the beginning of the live stream, you got to see like the very first battery I ever flew on the 2S Walksnail rig. Here is the most recent battery on this thing. Let me just make sure. This is... Yeah, it is. Yep. This is the battery I just flew. So here you go. This is like an hour ago. Man, there's a good amount of noise. I still need to play with the camera settings a little bit, I guess. Because there's still a little bit of noise. But in terms of like prop wash performance, flight performance, it's incredible. It's not even all that heavy either. Let me give you the weights on these two things. This is the really amazing thing about this 2S build, is it is not much heavier than the 1S 75 Walksnail build, which is kind of ridiculous, but yeah, it's real. So the 1S Walksnail build is coming in with the 1102 motors at 44.5 grams, right on the nose, 44.5. The 2S build with a 2S 300 mAh battery is coming in at 48.6 grams. So roughly 3 extra grams, but a full extra minute of runtime, and it doesn't eat and destroy its batteries because of that extra runtime, because of that extra efficiency of 2S. There is still a little bit of jello. It is a kind of overcast day, so the jello is not as bad as it normally is. I don't think we're ever going to get all of the jello out of these tiny whoops with Walksnail on them. I believe that the RPM that these things are turning is just too high, and that's where the jello kind of happens. So I'm going to continue to play around with like different propellers and different motors, but yeah, I think we're going to have to just deal with a little bit of jello on bright ass days. The solution is to fly on overcast days and to fly golden hour. When the sun starts going down, you get better light, and your flight footage is going to look better at golden hour anyway. So yeah, it's like weirdly a good problem to have. Look at this thing move around though. Like, look at the confidence that I have flying this thing, because the response time is so good, because it's just, yeah, it's dialed. I didn't realize that there was a bunch of leaves on the roof like this. Apparently it's really bad to have that. So I got to get up. I got to figure out a way to cut that branch off. But yeah, this thing flies so good. It's really kind of insane. And it doesn't feel like it definitely feels heavier than the 1S setup. Like the extra 3 grams is there. When you come off the throttle, you can definitely tell. But it's not so bad that it really matters all that much. I am going to try this on a 45 millimeter prop build on the much heavier frame, the Beta 75 Pro frame. Unfortunately, I don't think the extra weight of that frame is going to offset the propellers being 5 millimeters bigger. But it's worth a shot. We'll give it a try and see what's what. Is that the right file? Yeah, no, that's the right file. Hey, Daytona Jim 78 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, how about the new Air 75? I talked about it a couple of minutes ago, and then I've been talking about it over the past couple of live streams. Basically, if you don't want to upgrade, awesome. It's got direct soldered motors, which are super annoying. For me, personally, I'm going to buy the the Mobula 7 1S ELRS, because it has motor plugs and it's great. But yeah, if you don't want to change motors, if you don't want to do any upgrades, the Air 75 is great and it's going to fly very decent. But a Mobula 7 1S ELRS, you can make fly way better, way easier, because you can just plug in a new set of motors and away you go. Thank you for the support, brother. Curtis Hayes says, see the screenshot in general nonsense where Carl says 5-inch. HDZero is making a flight controller integrated true diversity ELRS receiver now. Carl, you're referring to Whoop AIO or 20x20 for 5-inch racing. Can we get a goggle collaboration? And then Carl says 20x20 5-inch. That's super weird. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know why Carl said that. My only, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't. There are no components that exist that will work on 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, and 6S. When someone says 5-inch, they're talking about something that's 6S capable. And so this doesn't make any sense unless there are two separate AIOs. But the person asked, are you referring to the Whoop AIO or 20x20 for 5-inch racing? I don't know. This is super weird. Whatever. It'll come out and then we'll see what it is. But I can't imagine that they're able to make an AIO that will work on a tiny Whoop and will also work on a 5-inch rig. That, if they're able to do that, I will eat my own head. Kevin Sumner says, I'm thinking there are two products coming out from HDZero, one flight controller and one AIO. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah. But hey, you guys will get to see me somehow remove my own head, and then I guess I would turn it inside out and then shove it into my mouth and then swallow it. They won't do it. You just can't. If somebody had been able to make an ESC that worked from 1S all the way up to 6S, they already would have. There must be some sort of a limitation there to be able to do it. I wanted to mention the 2S 75mm rig. It is making enough power where it is starting to pull the propellers off of the motors. After every battery, I am just like, after I unplug the battery, I'm just going up like this and pushing down on the propellers, and they're all dropping down. Valor, thanks for subscribing to the channel, my friend. Welcome to hell. So what I recommend you do is, before you if you're going to do this 2S Walksnail build, make sure that you grab your least favorite sharp-tipped tweezers, and before you put your propellers on, put the tweezers in to the hole in the propeller at a 45-degree angle and just scrape up the inside of the propeller mounting mating surface. That will raise up some extra plastic and make it fit a little bit tighter on the motor shaft, and then hopefully it will not go flying off mid-flight. So the reason that I flew, what I really wanted to do today, but I ran out of time, is fly a battery or two on this and then move it to a different frame with different motors. That different frame and those different motors is right here. I also figured out some errors that I'd made when buying frames for the 2S Walksnail rig. So one of the frames that I'd previously mentioned that there are 4 different frame options. The one that I tried first, that I was told from a bunch of people is indestructible, is the Mobula 7 V3 frame with the big battery bay for 2S batteries. This frame has been okay, but the motors, an O2 height stator motor, the propeller sits so low that it kind of hits the standoffs here a little bit. So realistically with this, if I end up staying with this Mobula 7 V3 frame, I'm actually going to use those silly little betafpv motor risers. But we're not there yet. I'm going to try the other frames first before I decide on one. So this frame I've been using, it's okay. It's not, yeah, it's okay. The next frame that we're going to try is a betafpv Meteor 75 frame. It's the one with the big battery bay set up for 2S. So we're about to try this out to see if this is any good. I had also said that there's a betafpv 75X frame. This frame will not work for most motors because this is a 4-bolt frame. There are motors that'll go in that have 4-bolt motor bases, but most of them have too low of a kV. Most 4-bolt motors are for 3S or 4S. But yeah, if you can find a set of 4-bolt motors that are small enough and light enough and high enough kV, the betafpv 75X frame should be totally fine because it's got the standard battery tray. Yep. So if you want to use 4-bolt motors, this 75X frame will work. I do not, though, so I'm not going to be using this frame. I'm sorry that I told you that this exists. I bought another Meteor 75 frame without realizing that it's only for 1S batteries. So this will get used at some point on the Jungle Gym Basher. This is not a 2S Walksnail frame. I'm actually going to put this right over here with the Jungle Gym Basher to remind myself. And then the last frame, the frame option that we're going to try dead last is the Mobula 7 V4. Apparently, you can cut the this set of supports here, the upper set of supports out, and then the battery will sit between the bottom of the thing that houses the posts. Wait a second. Can I do the same thing on this one? Oh, I might be able to do the same thing on this Meteor 75 frame. It doesn't look like it. Nope. No, there's not enough clearance there. Nope. This is a 1S only frame. The Mobula 7 V4 frame, though, it does have enough room. Yep, I can see it. It does have enough room. If I cut that top, I'm going to do it right now. So, and this is the lightest frame option right here, which is super interesting. I wish I'd done a better job at cutting that. Now there's a sharp edge. Whatever. I'll get in there with a file eventually. But so you can cut these top supports. There's one. And so it's this. It's one of these extra supports that breaks. You know, if you've got a 1S, if you've been running these frames and you've been breaking these top support pieces, these are what do break on these frames when you run them 1S. Hopefully you've been saving the frames because these top parts breaking means that you don't have to buy a fresh one and cut them out. So yeah, I've now cut those out. So now there's just the bottom supports there, right? And so now the bottom of where the posts are, all right? That part, that's now what's going to hold the top of the battery. And yeah, I mean, I do need to get in here and remove the extra little bit of material. Hopefully it doesn't cut the battery open, but yeah, no, I have to remove that little bit of extra material. But I can see that it will just barely fit. That is going to be a tight fit there. But yeah, as you can see, it will fit in there now. So 3 75 millimeter 2S frame options exist. Mobula 7 V4, Mobula 7 V3, and then I'm not really sure what this this is Meteor 75 for 2S, basically. It looks like this. Cool. I don't know which one is the best yet. The Mobula 7 V3 seems pretty good, other than the fact that the motors sit down a little low in there. It totally works, though. You've been seeing me fly around with it. It's just what's happening is when I turtle mode, it here's what it does. It does that to the end of the propeller. See that? See how it's bent up? That's because when it's turtle moding, it's coming around and it's smacking into. You can actually see it happening right now. See it? It's hitting that. The motor just sits a little too low. See that? And so, yeah. And so what ends up happening after you turtle mode it hard is that it bends the tip of the prop up, which isn't the end of the world, but it's also not it's not a great thing to have happen. I am going to try the HQ 1.6 inch bi-blades. Hey, we're doing mailbag today. This is a box from tinywhoop.com, and in this box are a bunch of HQ 1.5 millimeter motor shaft mount, 1.6 inch bi-blade propellers. These are actually 45 millimeter, but somewhere. Let's just go through the whole box. I got 2 more of the 450 mAh. I'm sorry, 300 mAh Tiny Whoop. Oh wait, here. No. Hold on. One of the reasons that battery a second ago wouldn't fit is that I have a piece of cloth tape wrapped around it to make it fit a little bit better and not slide out of the battery tray in the Mobula 7 V3 frame. But these fresh ones, I've not put that cloth tape around yet, so these will probably slide right in here. Hey, there it is. Yep, perfect. That actually fits really nice in there. I might not even need to... yeah, no, that should stay in there. So eventually we'll test this Mobula 7 V4 frame, and yeah, the batteries fit in there really nicely. There's just a little bit of friction, like so. A little bit of friction here to push it up, and then it slots in there, and then it's being pushed against the plastic, and that's going to hold it in there. Might still need to put a tiny little drop of E6000. E6000 when it dries is kind of like rubbery a little bit. So I'll probably just put a couple tiny little dots of E6000 in here just so that there's a little bit of rubberiness versus the plastic here to make sure the battery stays in there when you crash. When you nose in and the battery slides out of here, you then got a little dangly boy and it's just super annoying. So yeah, I'll take care of that. But yeah, Mobula 7 V4 frame, I'm actually excited to test that, but we're going to test this Meteor 75 frame first. I don't know why, we just are. So yeah, I've got 2 more of these 2S 300 mAh batteries for 4 total. At some point here, I'm going to have to get that Vifly toothpick BT 3.0 board, but for right now, I'm just using this little betafpv. It's both a cell checker and a little charger, which is just amazing. No reason not to have one of those. It's the only way of getting a cell checker. So yeah, snag one of those for sure. All right, so we got those. which is nice. It's been super annoying only to have 2 of those batteries. 4 is much more realistic for being able to like actually test this stuff out. Like today, for example, I had my 2 batteries charged, and I went out and flew one, and I was like, cool, now I'm gonna take it and swap frames. I forgot the DVR, that first battery that I flew. I was like, God damn it. So then I had to put the second battery through these same motors, which is, you know, it's okay. But it was just a moment of absolute and utter stupidity. So I got a whole bunch of propellers. HQ has a whole bunch of new Tiny Whoop propellers. Let me get them laid out here. So there's the 40 mil. So 45 millimeter biblades, 40 millimeter biblades, 40 millimeter. Okay, so the 45 millimeter biblades are a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft. The 40 millimeter biblades are a 1 millimeter motor shaft. And these are the ultralights. These are the new 40 millimeter ultralight, 1 mil motor shaft. The 45 millimeters are also ultralights. 45 millimeter with 1.5 mil, and then they've got some tri blades as well, which are the ultralight blade profile, 45 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter motor shaft, and then 40 millimeter, 1 mil motor shaft, 40 mil, 1 mil motor shaft. I really wish there was a 40 mil, 1.5 millimeter motor shaft, but there isn't. I got enough of these where I'm going to actually try to drill a set out to see what'll happen. I am cautiously optimistic. I'm not holding my breath. Tiny Whoop has these cool things that I'm going to see if I like. These open up and clamp to the metal rails on drop ceilings. And so, yeah, I don't know. They were like a couple dollars. And so I figured I'll give them a shot. It's closed here though. So like if you're going to hang a gate from these, you're going to have to like have a piece of Velcro that kind of slips in. I use the little rubberized cord holders, and they work totally fine. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually end up using these, but I'll at least try them because yeah, they're cool looking little products. I've actually seen these on Amazon before, but it was cool to see them on Tiny Whoop, and I was like, yeah, support Jesse, yo. So little bag of those. Oh, here's some more of the 45 millimeter tri-blades. Yeah, they are 1.5 mil shaft. One of the things that I'm most excited about is this big, beautiful bastard. This is a 75 millimeter Whoop storage box. I forget the guy's name that's making these, but good God, is the print quality incredible. The layer thickness. The layers are very, very, very thin, and this is has a super polished. Yeah, this is just awesome. And so your 75 millimeter rigs will drop right on in there. And so now, and what's cool is they kind of mix the colors up a little bit. I wonder if the tiny lifters will fit in there. I bet you they won't. But let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if a tiny lifter will fit in here. So yeah, now I've got the purple and white, and then purple and black. Let's see. Nah, tiny lifter will not fit because of these. Because of the big silly extra battery holder on the bottom. That's not surprising at all. That it won't slot in there. That's okay. The tiny lifters, I don't really like. If I'm gonna bring a tiny lifter, I know about it. I don't just like bring them everywhere with me. They are a specific thing that like, yeah, I'm going here to do. To put the Insta360 Go 2 up in the air. And so yeah, there you go. A couple of my extra frames that I have motors mounted up to, dropped in there. Actually, let's see. Hold on. Let's see what the Walksnail builds fit like in here because the canopies are extra tall. Ah, perfect. They drop right in there. So the Walksnail builds are absolutely no problem. The extra AIO up on top slides right in between. He made this and this wide enough that it'll drop right in there. And then here's the 2S build on the big ass frame. This might actually not fit. Yeah, okay. So this does not fit. So the giant 2S battery tray is just a bit much. I mean, I might be able to... Okay. If I put a little bit of pressure on it, it goes in there. I really didn't... Here, I'll show you. Like, I'll do it with my pinky so that you know I'm not like pushing on it. See that? Like I'm not having to push very hard on that. So this is the Modula 7 V3 frame. This is the Meteor 75 frame. Let's see how this... it drops right in there. Okay, so the Modula 7 V3 frame, you got to put a tiny little bit of pressure on. The Meteor 75 frame drops right in. And then we just modified that Modula 7 V4 frame. That's what this is. So it'll fit as perfectly and easily as this one will. So yeah, everything other than Cockroach 75 frames with the extra battery TPU piece on the bottom. The regular Modula 75 frame set up to run 1S would absolutely fit in here. It's just if you have that thing, if you've built like a full-blown tiny lifter like I have, and you have it set up to hold a 300 mAh battery on the bottom below the frame, and then one inside in the frame, it won't drop into here. Which is completely fine. I would rather not have this thing be that much extra big for the for that tiny lifter setup. And I imagine there's only a handful of people on Earth that have actually done that tiny lifter setup, so that's completely fine. Cool, man. I dig it. I like this. These are really, really nice. And then the little center area here is perfect for just dropping a bunch of batteries in. Put your fucking prop popper in there, right? You got plenty of space for everything. And then you just have to carry, drop this into your bag, throw it in your book bag, whatever. And you've got your whoops nice and protected all in one spot. Very, very cool stuff. There it is, yo! It's they are slightly different. This is like a... Oh yeah, you can see it. They look cool together, though. You know? Rad. Good stuff. Not expensive either. This is like less than 20 bucks. It was like 16 bucks or 15 bucks or something. Really, really cool. My 65 one at the moment is filled with RC drift car chasing rigs. I need to take one. I built 2 extra. Well, I've got the Walksnail one and I've got the main analog one. I pieced 2 of these together real quick just to head-to-head a bunch of motors. I'm gonna pull these apart. Ideally for this, it'll be 2 freestyle rigs and then 2 RC drift car chasing rigs. That's what this will kind of live as. But yeah, for testing, it's really, really nice to have multiple builds so that you can just back-to-back them. It really makes it a lot easier for you to be able to like remember what one flew like and then the other one flies like to get your comparisons in there. 1S Walksnail rig. I don't know what to do about this. I think I need to... Yeah, I don't know. I need to have a think on this. Because as this is currently set up, it's just going to keep destroying batteries. And that's super annoying. Maybe what I'll do is get a fresh set of batteries and put one of those batteries aside. Charge it all the way up, fly it. Charge it back up, fly it. Back. Take an internal resistance when it's new. Charge it up and fly it. Cycle it 5 times. Take the internal resistance again. cycle it 5 more times, take the internal, you see what I'm saying? I think that's what I'm going to do with this. Sacrifice one more battery. I definitely need to, matter of fact, I'm going to go grab the board that allows me to look at the internal resistances of these Whoop batteries on my big boy charger, and I'm just going to take it out here so that I remember to do this. All right, there we go. So yeah, I need to figure out what the internal resistances are on these batteries. Now that I'm kind of realizing this is a thing, you know what I mean? And because I came to this realization today, like in flying these things today, and in just kind of thinking about it yet again in the shower. These are shower thoughts for me. I remembered this get the batteries too hot and they punish you thing from way back when. So yeah, this is a fresh thing that I need to start working on and figuring out. So for right now, I'm going to take a little bit of a pause on this because, oh no, actually, back to, all I have to do is go back to what we were doing a minute ago, which is mailbag, and reach into the bag and grab the next little package, which is right here. Because in here, I forgot that I got these, are 4 brand new 450 milliamp battery 1S batteries. These are tiny whoops. This is the lightest 450 mAh 1S. Look at this awesome little low-flying aircraft sticker on there. It's one of my favorites. I'm putting this on the on one of these little guys. Oh yeah, Jesse, you should sell this as a sticker. This is great. Hold on. Hopefully this one doesn't peel off. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. I have that. I have the poster version of it back here. I've had this for many, many, many years. I don't even know if he sells that anymore. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to sacrifice one of these because it's going to get killed. So, yeah, I'm going to put these two guys, I'm actually going to put these into a little build bag, which is just a 5-inch prop bag. And I'm going to put this on the coffee table to remind me to put this up in the air on the 1102s. Check the internal resistance before it goes up in the air. I will charge it over there, and then, yeah, cool. I'm actually going to throw this over by the charger. And then we'll figure out what is the life cycle of these 1S batteries when you put them through a rig that's going to discharge them in 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing in mailbag is I snagged a bunch of these clear Mobula 6 old school canopies because I am afraid that at some point these will be discontinued. And I want to have a ton of them because I think it's the best tiny whoop canopy that's ever been made. It's super lightweight. It mounts the cameras that I like, the Runcam Nano 3, and the Walksnail light camera. So yeah, I want to make sure I have enough of them. And maybe I will buy some RIT dye and dye a bunch of these a cool color. Jesse does that, which is amazing. He's had a couple different colors. This is the color that he currently sells. It's like a midnight blue. I know it looks gray, but here, if I put it against gray, you'll see. Yeah, it's like a really dark blue, which is pretty cool. So yeah, he's also done them in, so I'm pretty sure this is the gray canopy that he then put in blue dye. He also took the clear canopy and he's made yellow and like blue, which on the clear canopy it actually looks blue, like a, you know, like a blue like this. But those are not in stock anymore. He just had he did a little short run of them. So yeah, there's that, which is cool. So that's your mailbag. That's your friendly daily mailbag. Check out my mail bag. Last 2S300 is done, so I'll be able to... oh, yeah, so... I don't know if I finished that thought. I got that. We watched the battery that I flew on this with these 1002 T-Motor 18,000s. I am now going to take this out of this frame and drop it into this Meteor 75 frame, which has a set of happymodel 0802 19,000 kV motors that I'm going to motor limit down to 75% so that they're the same kV as this current setup, which is motor limited down to 80%. And we're going to see. Are 802s being fed by 2S able to stay cool? We did this test on the 1S rig with a bunch of different 802s. 25,000, 27,000, 30,000, 33,000. This is months ago. And what we found is that the 802s were just getting too hot. It's not a big enough motor for a 75 millimeter build with Walksnail, even when it's set up light, if it's going to get flown hard. Maybe if we just limped it around like a Cinewoop, it would have been okay. I doubt it. But yeah, there's a chance with the higher voltage, doubled the voltage with 2S, that there will be slightly less motor heat. And that could be really cool because that would bring the weight of the 2S setup down considerably. From a 1002 to an 802, that's probably going to be like a 2 to 3 gram weight savings. That would actually bring the weight of this thing down to where the 1S rig is, which would be absurd. So yeah, that's what's next for the 2S Walksnail adventure. And I might start unscrewing things now for that, but I need to clean up just a little bit because I've made a gigantic mess in front of myself, which freaks me out. Actually, I'm gonna combine a bunch of these props into the same bag. These are all the 40 millimeters, and this is the 45. All right, cool. Let's see what stickers Jesse sent. He always sends cool extra stuff. Butterfly magnet. Hell yeah. Get on there. All right. I'll wait. That's a cool tiny whoop with 4 little life preservers. Warrior flotation device. Tiny whoop flotation device. Does he have a frame that's... I guess he's got that styrofoam frame that floats, and then the butterfly as a sticker. Very cool. TWFD, tiny whoop flotation device. Float today to fly tomorrow. As always, Jesse's the goddamn best. Hey, Nightwing says, "What up, Ciotti? Loved watching the stream the other day. Love having you on here, Nightwing. Always great to have you in chat, brother." And then Jesse says, "Thank you, bro. Samples are ordered. Awesome. Speak soon." Perfect. Sounds good, homie. All right. And what's happening in the chat? LO the Kidson with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. Daytona Jim with a $4.99 super chat. He says, "I have the Mobile 7 1S ELRS. What in stock motors?" Well, that changes from day to day. Let's see today. What do we got? Okay. So ideally, what you want are the iGao motors. Last I checked, they were not in stock, but let's double check. Let me just search for iGal. Nope. All right, so yeah, they are sold out. But these are the ones. These are the motors that you really want. So if you can wait, drop your email address in here, and they'll email you when they're back in stock. If you absolutely have to buy something today, well, here's an option. Here, I'm hearing really good things about the RC and Power 802s. The only problem is you're going to get a lot less runtime. It doesn't look like TinyWhoop sells them, but there is an RC and Power 802. It only has a 1mm motor shaft, but apparently it's stronger than the happymodel 1mm motor shaft, so you might be okay. For me, what I would do, if you have the Mobula 7 1S ELRS, that comes with happymodel 802s that have a 1.5mm motor shaft. So take those bells off. I already ate the candy, Mick. It came with a green giant Sour Patch Kid. I ate it immediately. So take the bells off of those RS 0802 motors that you have on there, and then you can pretty much get any of these 802s. If it were me, I would get these 27,000 kV 802 TinyWhoop Danger onesies, and then you're good to go. You take these stators, you put those bells onto these stators, and away you go. You could certainly also get these 802 25,000s, but I would rather you get a little bit higher of a kV, and then if you don't want that extra RPM, you just motor limit it down, and you're good to go. So yeah, you can also find, or you might even have a set of happymodel 0802 25,000s. They came on a bunch of the Mobula 6s, and then you don't have to buy any motors. But yeah, $40 and you're basically buying a set of 802 27,000 kV stators, essentially, is what you're doing there. Although, you can then take these motor bells and put them onto those RS 20,000 kV stators, and you'll have another set of motors. Yeah, but that's what I'm going to say for you to do. You got that 27,000 kV, same as the iGal motors. You're going to have the RS. Actually, doing that, you'll have a motor that's a little bit lighter than the iGal motors. So technically speaking, they'll be a little bit better than these. But these are nice because it's $40 for a set of motors and you're done. You slap them on, away you go. So yeah, that's what I'm going to recommend for you, my friend. Let me start combining these guys into the same bag. Hold on, let me scroll up in the chat because I think I've missed some stuff. I am still, this whole family is still reeling from our Moderna booster shots that we got a few days ago, two full days ago. Good Lord, I've never had this kind of a reaction to any of the other ones. I've done. This is either my third or fourth booster. I think the other ones I did were Pfizer, and I was completely fine. But this one is just I'm tired. My arm still hurts like hell. The rest of the family is doing worse than me though. So yeah, if you have a choice, maybe don't do the Moderna one. Although it's I don't know, it's all over the place. Whatever. Get it. Because the alternative is eventually getting COVID again, and it sucks. It had been like 2 years since I had it, and I forgot how bad it sucks. I got it a few months ago, and man, yeah, I wish that I hadn't skipped a booster last year. But hey, we live and learn, eh? Oh! Kevin Sumner says, I'm thinking there are two... Oh, we got that. Mark Jimenez says, with all these new frames, what's the best 65mm frame? Mark, there is no best. Remove the word best from your vocabulary. It doesn't exist. There's just different. My favorite 65 millimeter frames are the Cockroach 65 V3, the Cockroach 65 Light AF, and then I also like, so the strong suit of the V3. Man, this is like a whole conversation. We talk about this a lot. It's almost every live stream that we have this conversation. And it takes me like 5 minutes to go through the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer you to my channel here. Go to my channel and the little tiny magnifying glass here. Click this and let's try this. Best 65 millimeter frame. I don't know if this will work, but let's take a look. 11 months ago is too long ago. 9 months, no. 4 months, no. 11 months, 1 year, no. Damn it. Let's try this. I don't think I'm actually typing. Come on, you fuck. All right. 65 millimeter frame comparison is what I searched for. 7 months ago, too long ago, a year ago, too long ago, 5 months ago, 2 years. God damn it. Hey, Apache Smoke, can you do me a massive favor and do a timestamp right now for 65 millimeter frame comparison? My personal favorites are Newbie Drone, Cockroach 65 V3. This is the best all-arounder in my opinion. The weight of the frame plus the weight of the ultra-short motor screws that they give you make it the lightest option, which is mega. I'm sorry, the second lightest option, which is amazing. It's also very durable, and it has little hooks on it. It has little hooks on the frame, which will allow you to use this ultra slick little batwing camera mount, as I call it, which is available over on my Discord, so that you can get no props in view, but still run a regular frame. No extra carbon fiber bracing nonsense to eat up thrust, add weight, lose efficiency. This is the way to go. If you don't want props in view, this demolishes any of the other options. It is so much better runtime, more power. This is the way to do it, hands down. And in order to do that, you need the Cockroach 65 V3 frame, which is fine. You don't have to use those hooks. I still use that frame on my freestyle bashers. My second favorite frame, which is rapidly becoming my favorite frame, I have 5 more on the way, is the Newbie Drone Cockroach 65 Light AF frame. This is my favorite for freestyle rigs at the moment, as long as it's durable enough, which I think it is. I finally did break this one, but I put a lot of batteries through it. This isn't my favorite frame quite yet, because this one did break within like 100 batteries. I pounded the shit out of this, and so it kind of deserved to break, but I don't like to just run one thing and then be like, yeah, it's the best, everybody buy it. Like, I want to break a few of them to really get a better feel, a bigger sample size for how durable it is. So coming soon. But this is, at the moment, second favorite, could become my favorite. Cockroach 65 Light AF. In like kind of a tie for third place is going to be the happymodel Mobula 6 2024 frame and the Meteor 65 Air frame and the betafpv crown frame. But to take a step back, the Cockroach frames that I just talked about that are my favorites, you can run those with happymodel motors, or you can run them with any motors. The ducts are placed in a location that they will jive with any old motors. Mobula 6 2024 frame, Beta 65 Air frame, betafpv crown frame, also the old school Meteor 65 frame. you only want to use those frames on the taller 702 motors, which are not Happy Model, which stinks because the Happy Model motors outperform every single other tiny whoop motor by a lot. Betafpv's 0702s, I guess the same goes for 802s. Betafpv motors, VCI motors, most motors other than Happy Model are a little bit taller, and that is the height of motor that you need for these other frames. If you run the Happy Model shorter motors on these 3 frames I'm talking about, 4 frames I'm talking about here, the propeller line is too low. The duct is up here, and then the propeller swings down here. So when you smack into the wall, the duct goes over the propeller, and the duct bends in too far. Also, you can have a situation where the propeller bangs into the wall and scratches up your walls or wrecks the motor. It's just all bad. It's a bad situation. It hurts the frame. The frames break prematurely. You're doing damage to the things in your house. You're potentially banging up motors and propellers. It's all bad. But if you've got a rig with the taller motors, those frames are completely fine. I would still personally run the cockroach frames, but you do you. And so there you go. Those are the most popular frames. Those are the most durable frames, but you got to understand the motor height issue to get the most out of them. If you run a Meteor 65 airframe with Happy Model motors, you will probably break that frame within like 20 batteries. It's really bad. The Weebleed FPV crown frame is not nearly as bad in that respect. The Air 65 frame is the worst in terms of running a motor that's too tall and it becoming a very fragile frame. The other ones aren't as bad, but they can't touch the cockroach frames. And so, for the most part, Cockroach 65 V3 or Light AF. But yeah, the other frames are not bad. It's just that Newbie Drone put the duct lower, and that makes a big difference. And so, yeah, there you go. Good question. Now, in the future, hopefully Apache Smoke will have timestamped this little conversation with the description of 65mm frame comparison, and then anybody can go to to my channel, use the little magnifying glass, search for 65mm frame comparison, and it'll pull this live stream right here. Brad Anderson says, I used that betafpv 75X 2S frame with 3-bolt motors. It's weird, but doable. I use the risers too. So that's something I forgot to mention about the 75X 2S frame. There's 2 versions of it. The version I showed you in clear only uses 4-bolt motors. This one here that Brent Anderson is talking about, it's actually got a weird setup that allows you to run 3-bolt or 4-bolt motors. You see that there? And so, yeah, I have this set up with the 3-bolt motor configuration. It's fine. They're held on there completely fine. It's a little bit annoying because they're like slots, but it's totally fine. It works. So, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thanks for reminding me of that, Brent. Notice says, how on God's green earth did you get the ultra short True RC Singularity under the ball sack canopy? I can't make it fit without short of some kind. You just got to put a little bend in it. I don't have many rigs still set up that way. Apparently I don't have any. I've kind of moved away from that setup because having the head of the antenna right next to that PCB is not great. As soon as you fly up above yourself, the signal strength really goes to hell. So I've kind of moved over to these micro V antennas, which are lighter than the Singularities, and the performance isn't as good when you're flying below your head, but then when you fly up above yourself, the performance is way better. So yeah, maybe ditch this ultra short Singularities and get you some micro Vs, some ORT micro Vs. Race Day Quad sells them. But yeah, you just got to put a bend. You got to put you have to get the True RC ultra short Singularity, and then you got to put a 90-degree bend in it. And so you run the UFL like this, and then the 90-degree bend goes here, and then the head of the antenna goes here right under the ball sack. I'll show it to you. I still have one rig with that. Oh no, I got 2 rigs with that setup. Here you go. Here you go. But yeah, from a the secret, if there is a secret to good video in FPV, the secret is antenna placement, and this is bad antenna placement. Please focus, you piece of shit Logitech webcam. Thank you. Yeah, goes right up under there, and you can kind of see. Well, this is on a Walksnail board, which puts the UFL a little bit farther forward. I don't think I have any setups anymore on 2G4s, but it was totally doable in the 2G4. You would just have to put a little bend in the cable. That's all. That's the wrong button. I know what you mean though. It's hard to get it to fit in there, but yeah, doing a little bend in the UFL cable is the move. Notice says no, we got that. Kevin Sumner says, can you open those hangers and slide them through the loops on the gates? Yes. If I wanted to permanently put gates on the ceiling tiles, yes, I could put it through the little metal hanger thing and then pinch it up onto the metal bastards. And yeah, I mean that wouldn't be terrible. But man, I've been totally fine with the little rubber hangy ball things lately, so I might not actually use them, but they're nice to have. I might actually end up using them in the garage, because it would be nice in the garage to have like nice metal hangers up on the drop ceiling. Maybe like hang some tools down off of them. We'll see. I'm sure I'll use them somewhere. Cool thing to have floating around if you've got drop ceilings in your house. LOL the Kidson with a $2 super chat. Thanks again, homie. Kevin Sumner says, Custom FPV designed that box. That's who it is. Custom FPV. Yep, that's his name. Custom FPV. Great job. I'm tempted to add something to that, Kevin, but I don't want to get you in trouble, so I'm not gonna. You can say it in the chat. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus though. In case you want to keep it private, from what you showed me at Rampage. King Dingling says, can you check the new beta FPV Air 65? Is the canopy soft or plastic now? They say it's new. Yes, I can. I can check that because in a moment of absolute genius, I saved the Air 65 canopies that I broke in this box of... I try to have one of each canopy in this box here. And so... Oh, God, why? Towards the bottom of this box, there should be broken air canopies. Let's see. Old school happymodel 65 mil frame. There it is. There is the very first broken Air 65 frame. What is this? This is that wacky beta FPV. Okay, so this is the old school one. The new school ones they sent me in the box are over here. Hold on. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, so let's have a look. Come on. Okay, here we go. And oh, it might be. So this side of the frame is not broken. It's right here that's broken. So I'm gonna. Nah, if anything, it's stiffer. Here's the problem though. This is a frame that I flew a bunch, so and you can see like it's got those creases where the damn things break. So this is one of the rear ducts. So let me try to just squeeze this rear duct. Yeah, okay, now it does feel softer. Come up in here. Try to squeeze it like this. Maybe it's ever so slightly softer. Let's weigh them and see if there's a weight difference. That could typically different density materials will weigh slightly different. The old one 2.67, the new one 2.66. Not looking great for it being a new frame. I don't know. It's not noticeably softer. This is one of the rear ducts. Let me switch hands. I mean, look, here's what I'll say. The old Meteor 65 airframe lasted like 15 batteries, maybe only like 10 batteries with the Happy Model motors on it. When betafpv sent me the Air 65 prototypes with the possibly new frame, I flew easily 40 or 50 batteries with their motors, their taller motors, and they were completely fine. So yeah, I think it's because of the motors. I think the taller motors are what make the difference. So yeah, I'm not gonna say that the new frame is definitely softer, because it really doesn't. If it is, it's like just a tiny bit softer, which, you know, I don't know. If they say it's softer though, maybe it is. Maybe. These are these wacky old school betafpv, supposedly indestructible frames, but they're a little heavy and the battery sits down too far. This is this weird iFlight frame that's very similar to the old school newbie drone cockroach frame. This is the cockroach V2 frame. It's the old school design, but like a really stiff plastic that just explodes. But if you want a crazy PID tune or something like that, I guess you can run that frame. It's really heavy though. And then we've got, this is a Crown prototype frame that Weebleed sent me a long time ago. This is the Cockroach V3, but in the stiffer plastic. You can actually hear it. It's very, very stiff. Oh yeah, actually, they sent me a whole bunch of them, so I have them in all three colors. Purple, clear, and smoke crotch gray. And then this is the the softer plastic Cockroach V3. A couple extras. And then I thought that I threw a Mobula 6 2024 frame over here. Pretty sure I did. And I guess it didn't make it into that little box. Where is it? What the hell? Where's it at? Wonder if it fell down behind. Huh. No. I like having this little box with all the frames in it. It's nice. It's nice for moments like a moment ago. All right. Man, I'm tired, bro. Jesus Christ. Ah! I did! It's sitting here on the table. Mobula 6 2024 frame. This is a really good frame. But the goddamn ducts are up too high. If the duct wasn't up so high, it's a really light frame actually too. I really dig it, but yeah, it's with the ducts where they are. No. Oh, and here it is in smoke crotch gray too. I got one of each. Put those in that box. Hey. All right. Okay. Man, I'm running out of steam. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Go watch some bot grinder, my friends. Go watch my buddy Doug. We're going to stream a little bit more. I'm going to fly a couple of batteries. I have a few 1S batteries that are just sitting here that need to get discharged. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. King Dingling says, can you... we got that. Minos133 says, which Betaflight version gives the best performance for whoops? The question of which Betaflight version gives the best performance, you don't have to worry about whoops, is always the newest. The newest version of Betaflight is always the best. They've got a team of like almost 30 developers that from around the world that work on Betaflight, and they do the best work out of anyone that's ever worked on drone flight firmware. And so every single version of Betaflight performs a little bit better than the one previous. What I will say is that the biggest difference in flight performance came from RPM filtering, which was Betaflight 4.2. So for me, every single version of Betaflight after 4.2 performs pretty damn similar. There have been improvements made to anti-gravity to include P-gain, which sometimes can help a little bit, but with a rig that has a good powertrain, a proper set of motors, props, battery voltage, for the all-up weight of the rig, it's not that much of a problem. And you've figured out how to get your center of gravity somewhat centered. Yeah, it's not a necessity. It's a very subtle improvement. So yeah, anything... here's what it is for me. If I have a rig that's on Betaflight 4.2 and I don't have a specific reason to update it, it's still on 4.2. It's not worth the time and effort to update from 4.2 to 4.3, 4.4, now 4.5, because it's not going to fly noticeably better. So yeah, anything newer than 4.2, in my experience and in my opinion, is good to go. I would rather spend that time flying or rebuilding or, you know, doing something with the family, versus, yeah, updating to 4.5 where it's like, realistically, I'm not going to feel much of a difference, if any. So yeah, there you go. Unpopular opinion there, but an important conversation to have. Because, yeah, there's a... and for the love of God, if you buy a bind and fly, don't update Betaflight. When you buy a bind and fly, they do a bunch of stuff to make it fly. Thus the name bind and fly. And they do a bunch of stuff to make it fly good. They'll send them with like custom PID tunes sometimes. And so when you get a bind and fly and you immediately update it from 4.4 to 4.5, 99% of the time, it's going to fly worse. Because you've put it on a completely stock version of Betaflight with like nothing that actually improves the flight performance, because they really haven't added much of anything since 4.2, what we were just talking about. And you've potentially removed all of the custom stuff that the manufacturer put on there for that specific bind and fly. Furthermore, like, just stop. If you've got a rig that's on 4.2 or 4.3 or 4.4, fly it. Don't update it. If you've got a reason to update it, then you update it. If it's like, if you want to go to elrs 3.0, or if you're putting Walksnail on it and you want the HDZero OSD, update it. If there's a specific reason, then do it. If you want to screw around with the return to home stuff, sure. But don't update for the sake of updating. It's not going to fly any better on 4.5 than it did on 4.4. I don't know if they did anything between 4.4 and 4.5 to improve flight performance. If Brandon's Baked Beans is in chat, he will correct me on that. But yeah, ever since 4.2, I've not noticed on a single rig that they fly any better. It's actually a really good question, Minos. The 2X Whiskey says, not to be a dick, but I want an official 65mm size Tiny Whoop belt buckle to go along with my Stetson. Let us know what you come up with. I mean, shit, a 65mm rig is small enough that you could, if you figured out some kind of mounting, you could totally mount it to a belt. That'd be kind of funny. Make sure it's quick detached. You can pop it off and fly the damn thing real quick. Mikvika says no candy. CiottiFPV says, I've managed to get my 2S Walksnail 75 down to 30.2 grams running 0703. Wow. 16,500 kV motors. So far not getting too hot to lip the motors? I don't know what lip means. I think that's a spelling mistake. Mark Jimenez says, thank you so much. You're certainly welcome. Dave S. says, so can you use the beta taller motors on the Mobula 6 2024 tall hoop frame? Yes. Yeah, the taller motors, betafpv, VCI, there's probably others, they'll work on any frame. It's just the happymodel motors don't jive well with the frames that have the taller prop guards. Good question, Dave. Let's fly a couple batteries. Let's fly this 0702 32,000 kV rig. I haven't flown this damn thing in forever. We flew the 36,000 kV rig last time. And boy, it had an awful lot of power. This is like the old school ultimate freestyle tiny whoop formula that I've been flying for like the last almost 2 years. That's just great. It's just such a good setup. I've been wooed by all of these sub 18 gram builds lately, but yeah, this thing is awesome. And I've got these HQ YOLO props on here, which make a lot of power on these 32,000 kV motors, so this should be fun. Jesus, these batteries, these fucking Fat Shark batteries, man, god damn, they just go dead constantly. They save 1,500 milliamps, but that's some bullshit. They are getting old, though. These are old-ass batteries. So, I'm sure that's the reason why. Okay, where did all the batteries go? Where did all the goggle batteries go? What? Seriously, though. Where did all the goggle batteries go? Where's that other set of HD2s? There they are. There's no battery with them. What the hell? What? Seriously, where? Okay. Well, I got one. Like I said a minute ago, go get you guys some butt grinder. I am officially on his time slot right now. Okay. There we are. That'll work. Alright, 32 million kV. I got the wrong elrs module in here. This one must be on 2.5. Just unplug this for a second just to get it to cool down a little bit. And switch modules. There we go. Power it back up. This is a Dogcom 300 mAh battery. This is one of the batteries that I have, that has been hammered on a little bit. But it's holding up pretty fine. Holding up pretty good. Whoa! Yeah, okay, so these motors make power. I've flown those ultralight rigs a lot lately on like the 28 and 29,000 kV motors. And with how much lighter they are, they really do get away with those lower kV motors. But Jesus, these happymodel high kV motors make so much power. And it's really, really fun to fly these. And so, yeah, I'm going to fly these Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoops a little bit more. Teddy's up there. I hear him. There he is. Hello, little boy. Oh, look at that. Look at that stance. What's that stance that he's in? Can I get through his legs finally? Ah, he will not let me. Ah! Little boy. Ah! Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, blowing the floof. Blowing the floof. Get it. Get it. Get you some, doggy. Get you some. Oh. Who's up there? Azalea? What's she watching? More anime? Oh, boy. Oh, man, somebody's get that mad legendary combo. He just uses it whenever, it says. Teddy Spaghetti's got a toy. He wants the Tiny Whoop to pick up his toy and throw it for him. Teddy, let me shoot that. Let me shoot that gap, brother. Ah, damn it. I don't want to like get it tangled up in his like wiener fur and like ruin his relationship with the Tiny Whoop. So unless like I sedate him or something, I'm probably not. I'm probably gonna give up on the dream of shooting the Teddy gap. All right, wow, goddamn, yeah, these 32,000 motors, 32,000 kV 0702 happymodel motors. These are the Moon Travelers on these HQ ultralight tri-blade YOLO props. Make some jam. Oh my god! Look at that hang time, homie! Oh god! I hit the fan. Oh my god, that almost went in his bowl. Holy shit, it landed right here. It landed right there. That was the rug that it was next to. Jesus. Hang time. Ugh. Oh god. Oh! That worked out pretty well. Man, zero prop wash with these big KV motors too. My god. Let me do that big hang time hit again. That was fucking bananas. Let's get a good run up. We'll get a good run here. All right, ready? Oh man, I can do it better than that. Oh, the battery's getting low. Oh, battery's getting real low. Hold on. Let's swap it. Ran that one down a little bit lower than I wanted to, but it'll be all right. So yeah, look at that runtime, right? 3 minutes, 30 seconds. This battery will last a long time with a runtime like that. That's not like an abusive runtime. You know what I mean? Okay, another Dogcom 300 mAh battery. Here we go. Fart. Here we go. We're going for big hang. No, this battery is like half discharged already. Nah, it'll be fine. Here we go. Mega hang time test. In 3, 2, 1. Nah, we can do better than that. Oh, God! Man, that's the problem with hang time tests. Hold on. I gotta get the throttle blip just right. There it was! Oh, I didn't... I mean, if it hadn't hit the counter, I would have caught it, but... Oh, no! Oh, God. What was that? That was wild. Yeah, buddy. God, this is nausea-inducing. If I did it one way, I gotta do it the other way. Jesus, it's so much harder to do orbits to the right. Teddy's trying to track in his little head. Oh, what a funny little dog. Oh, buddy. I don't really like dogs, but you're a good one, man. Oh, I booped it down right in front of him. Here we go. Down. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Ah, come on. Come on. There we go. Wow, I'm staggered at how much more power this thing has at just 32,000 RPM, especially with it being like a full 2 grams heavy. Well, not quite a full, like almost 2 grams heavier than the Air 65 and the Meteor 6 2024. I'm blown away at how much more power this thing has. Hey! Hey! Woo! Man, you can really drive it. Oh, God. It just went... You can really drive it through the Cool Whip. Yeah, so this battery was... when I first armed it, it went down to like 4.1 volts. This is the battery that I plugged the Walksnail rig into when it was copying off the hard drive. So it sat there having to run Walksnail for a while, and so it took a bunch of the juice out of the battery. Limits 20 says, I have this exact same setup. Can you show the PID tunes, please? I'm struggling with a prop wash. No, I will not show you guys my PID tune because there is absolutely no reason for anyone to ever copy someone else's PID tune. It is a bad idea, and it will lead to problems. PID tuning is absurdly easy. If you have no ability whatsoever, all you have to do is grab the master multiplier and move it from 1.0 to 1.2. Fly the rig, make sure it's not doing anything weird, move it up to 1.4. Fly it again, make sure it's not doing anything weird, 1.6. Fly it, nothing weird, 1.8. At some point, it'll start acting up. One of the things that it'll do, you don't even have to have a computer to do this. You can just go in here, simplified tuning, go to the bottom, master multiplier. If you move this master multiplier up too high, here's what to expect. Come on. That. Watch my throttle. Watch my throttle on the right side there. See it's at 0? Watch this. See how it's flying away? And you can hear it. It's going to go brrr, instead of being like, it's going to brrr, it's oscillating. That's not right. You've pushed the master multiplier too far. Come back in, move it back down. And move it 0.2 at a time. So that was 1.6. I would move it down to 1.4. Fly it. Well, fuck it. Let's do it. Come on. Still doing it. Back in. Profile. Simplified tuning. Up makes you go to the bottom. Makes you go to the bottom of the second page. 1.4 down to 1.2. Save and exit. Still doing it. And now you can start to hear it. Ready? Listen. I'm just gonna do a throttle blip. I'm gonna go full throttle, 0 throttle. That's it. Listen to the reaction that the quad does. Listen to what the quad does. Now you know what I'm gonna tell it to do, but listen to what it does. I'm gonna do it again. Ready? You hear the secondary throttle blip? The quad is going, I'm only telling it to go, but it has that secondary burst of throttle. That's because it's overtuned. It's not so overtuned that it's rocketing up into the ceiling uncontrollably, but it's still a little bit overtuned. So I moved down on another 0.2. And now it's fine. Now it's not rocketing up into the ceiling. You can't hear it oscillating. You can't hear it going brrrr. It's just going ah, ah, like a nice smooth motor. And that, my friend, is all you need to do to tune a quad. You can do it with one slider, the master multiplier, and that works pretty okay. If you have a couple extra brain cells to spare, what you can do is use these two sliders here, the D gains and the P and I gain slider. And what you do is the same thing, but here's the ratio. Fucking piece of shit, Fat Shark battery, goggle bastards. This is where it's going to be stock. You're going to go like this, and you're going to fly it and make sure it's okay. Then you're going to bring it back in, and you're going to do this. 1.4, 1.1. Fly it, make sure it's okay. Next, up by 0.2, up by 0.2. Fly it, make sure it's okay. Still okay, 1.8, 1.5. There's a ratio here that you want to maintain. This rig is perfectly tuned at 1.2 and 1.5. It's not too much, it's not too little, but it is on the limit before the whoo boy, before the PID loop becomes overactive. And that's it. That's all you have to do to tune. It is so incredibly simple. To use someone else's tune is going to save you like 1 minute of your life and give you a significantly worse setup that might not even work at all. Ah! No! Let go. Thank you. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. No, no, no. Don't fall down back there. Don't fall back there. No! Well, every single goggle battery I have is dead, so instead of 6 batteries, you're getting 2 batteries tonight. Sorry, friends. Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do to tune. It's incredibly easy, and to have a custom tune is just so much better. Like, it's just, and also to understand how to tune. Like, there are going to be scenarios where you need to know that stuff. Like, you go on vacation and like during your flight, someone slams their bag up against yours and it bends your propellers all up, and you bend your propellers back as straight as you can, but they're not quite straight enough. And so now there's a bunch more vibrations in the rig. And so you either don't fly in the coolest place that you've ever been, or you learn how to tune in 14 seconds, and then you go in and you bring those PID gains down a little bit, because with bent propellers, you take it off, you blip the throttle, and it goes, and you immediately know, oh shit, the tune is a little bit too far. Let me back it off a little bit. And you have a blast flying on vacation rather than not being able to fly and being pissed. So it's so worth it to spend a couple of minutes of your life playing around with tuning, figuring it out, asking a question or two, and then away you go. Notice says, ever thought about making a series of FAQ shorts? Stavel chopped up one of my live streams into a bunch of shorts like 2 months ago, and I have not been able to find the time to go in and make thumbnails and actually post them. The long and short of it, though, with shorts is that they attract an audience that is only willing to watch shorts, and that's not what I do. I am long-form content, top to bottom, and so making shorts is gonna, like, sure, it'll give me a bunch more subscribers, but it won't give me people that actually hang out here and support me and like care. And that's, you know, that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm here to have the conversation with you guys, to get feedback from you, to give you my feedback, to get micros flying better, and just FPV rigs in general. how do we fly them better? How do we build them better? How do we tune them better? That does not come from shorts. And so, yeah, there's very little, I have very little motivation to do anything with shorts, because it's just not my crowd. And the other big problem with shorts is that it gives you a tiny little piece of the puzzle. I would so much rather have an actual conversation here on a live stream so that you can get the full picture, rather than have a bunch of shorts that's like, hey, here's how you tune, and you get like this much of an understanding of how to tune. And then you think that you're God's gift to tuning, and you tell a whole bunch of other people, right? Like, short form content breeds bad information. And I'm super hesitant to do that. So, yeah, I don't know. I know that I should, because having a bigger subscriber number means you have a bigger edict. But I just don't care. I don't, like, if I say that I have almost 10,000 subscribers to someone, and they're like, what are you? Like, that's a person that is a piece of human garbage, and I want nothing to do with, right? So, like, I just don't care. It's not, subscriber count means nothing to me, and subscriber count would be pretty much the only thing that would come from me spending a bunch of time to make shorts. And so, yeah, sometimes in life, you know, if you want the good info, you got to put the time in, you got to put the effort in. And this live stream is a great example of that. And so, yeah, sorry. Andrew Taylor says, for tuning with the master multiplier, what would you do if the mode is set to RP and not RPY? Change it to RPY. Am I right thinking the yaw PIDs won't be affected? You are right. Does that matter? Every once in a while, you'll get a build that doesn't have enough yaw authority, and you have to push those yaw numbers up even higher. Tiny whoops are not like that. If anything, you almost want to move the yaw down on tiny whoops, because they are so crisp on the yaw axis, because all of the weight is centralized, right? Like, all of the extra weight is right here. Yeah, the battery's a little bit long, and it puts a little bit of weight out in front, but like, for the most part with a tiny whoop, all the weight is in the center. So it's like if you're spinning around, you hold your arms in like this, right? This is like a tiny whoop. This is like, ow, fuck you, bitch. This is like every other rig, with a camera up front, with the, you know, sometimes two cameras up front, VTX in the rear, that kind of stuff. So yeah, and to be honest, it's very rare that you would need to add that you should not run RPY. RPY works 99% of the time. Stephen Pav with the last comment of the live stream. He says, have you ever used the happymodel Superx HD1S flight controller? Is this a decent board? I did use it. It only lasted like 1 or 2 batteries. Apparently, if you put Blue Jay 0.16 on it, it's a lot better. But yeah, I did not have any luck with the old school Superx. If you want a flight controller without a VTX on board, which is what that basically is, which is sort of the only reason you would buy that flight controller, get the betafpv cross style. I've had 4 of them going in all 4 of my Walksnail rigs for many months, and they've been awesome. They're the AIO that all the racers use. Some of the racers bitch about them not being durable, but a lot of people have expectations that are too high for tiny whoop stuff. So yeah, they've been really good to me and many others. They're not perfect, but nothing is in the tiny whoop world. Thanks for hanging out, friends. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Go over to CiottiFPV.com. Click all the buttons so I can keep doing this for full time and keep saving you money, because I'll tell you what not to buy. And then you'll save like 40 or 50 bucks. And then maybe you can hit my Patreon and give me like 3 of those dollars a month. You know, just saying. Or if you want to get in on monthly giveaways next... Not this Monday. Wait, 26, 27, 28. Yeah. Not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, we're doing 4 giveaways. You can get in on 1 or 3 of those giveaways by joining my Patreon at the $5 or up tier. $5 tier will enter you to win Tiny Whoop and Toothpick stuff. $10 a month tier will enter you to win 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop parts. $20 a month tier will enter you to win 5-inch parts. $1 a day, $30 a month will put you into all 3 of those giveaways. Those are Patreon-specific giveaways. The 4th giveaway is open to anybody. But yeah, the first 3 giveaways coming up 2 Mondays from now are for patrons. Come on board. Help me do this forever. Show your appreciation. Show your love. CiottiFPV.com. Thanks, friends. I think it's like the hardest shill I've ever done. Sometimes you got to shill hard, though, my friends. Go get you some bot grinder. Tell him I sent you. He's streaming right now. I love you. Bye. I'm not ready. Play him out, Johnny. Here's I don't know. Here's a battery that I flew inside the house. Walksnail and inside the house. This is terrible. I'm flying like a buffoon. These are all terrible. What's happening here? This is the 2S rig for sure. Man, I can tell immediately if it's the 2S 75mm rig or the 1S 75mm rig. Enjoy, friends. I love you. Bye. I'll see ya Sunday at 3.